Hello friends, good morning. Welcome to my channel Essentials of Management. Friends, motto of this channel is to evolve high standards of education and training of the subject management science in general and that of environment, health and safety management in particular. So today we will continue with the series of various management techniques. We will have discourse 3. Here we will discuss part 3 of the total 7 parts of the 5S, and we will discuss first S, that is Seiri. We will discuss Seiri in detail in this discourse. See, in the first discourse, we tried to understand what is 5S, and in second discourse, we tried to find what are the advantages of the 5S and how to implement the 5S. Now, in next parts, we will see each step. There are 5 steps, and we will see each steps in detail. So here we are going to discuss first step, that is Seiri or sort. So Seiri is a Japanese word. The parallel word in English is sorting. So sort out and dispose unnecessary items. So in short, what is the meaning of this step? That it refers to the act of throwing away, remove all unwanted, unnecessary and unrelated materials in the workplace and dispose of them properly. So very simple. You have a workplace, a particular place to work with, you and your colleagues. So what you do is, because what happens is in the course of time, many things gather which of no use for today as well as for future. Now there are discarded item, rejected item, there is a waste of the processing waste, you can say, and there is always a tendency to accumulate that. So what this first principle tells us is nothing which is not necessary is to be accumulated at the workplace. So remove everything. It is very simple to understand. There is nothing much to explain about. That remove all unwanted, unnecessary and unrelated materials at the workplace. So take it away from all those things. You take it away. Create a dump yard or a wastage yard and put those things there which you are confident that it is of no use now, it's totally a waste, a garbage. And the very important thing is, if you put them, dump them in the backyard or the wastage yard, you are supposed to see that you dispose of those things in a proper way. So nothing is to be accumulated there also in the dumping yard. So this is a dumping yard. Just keep on dumping all the unnecessary materials there. So first step is to take it there, and from there you are supposed to dispose of the things in a proper manner. Every wastage has a particular way of disposing the things. So if hazardous waste is there, there is a way of disposing hazardous waste, right? So metal waste is there, there is a way of disposing the things. Coolants or chemicals are there, then there is a way of disposing the wastages, right? So sort out, take out all the unnecessary materials, take it to the backyard dump yard, and from there dispose it. So the question is, do you throw unwanted things away? So it's a question to you, or you can ask it to yourself. So because human tendency is to accumulate the things, because you think that it may require in future. So what do you think about that? You think that it works. Maybe some part it is not working, but you feel like that it may work and it may be required in the future. You think that it has a value. So why you retain the things? What is your thinking behind retaining the things at your workplace? That you think that it works, you think that it has a value, you think that it is still new, it is usable, it looks nice. It happens sometimes that you keep something which looks nice. It happens at home also. Not necessary now, but maybe in future. Very important. The thought behind is that, okay, this is not required today, but maybe it will be required sometime in the future, and if you throw it away, you will not get it at that time. You may have to buy a new one. So this is all different thinking behind keeping the things, accumulating the things. So every time you say no for disposing of the things. So it's a psychology. So what is this process? So separating the wanted and unwanted. So there are maybe say 100 things around you. So you check every atom one by one. That okay, you think whether it is wanted, you keep it aside. If it is unwanted, you keep it at the separate place. Then next step is you segregate that, whether it is a junk, total junk of no use at all, separate it. If you find some rejected things which may be repairable, okay, and you separate wanted things. So there are three categories: junk and waste, repairable, probably repairable. So because it may get repaired or it may not get repaired, and wanted atoms. No, repairable, if it is repairable, repair it and use it. So bring it into the wanted items. If you think that it is irreparable, it's of no use now, discard it into the junk and waste. So ultimately what happens is you get a two categories: discarded thing and wanted items. Now this is the classification we do of necessary and unnecessary things. And importantly, what you do is you red flag the junk and waste, okay, and those unnecessary things find their true cause. So why you are discarding? See, it is just not discarding for discarding sake. You have to think before discarding that really this thing is to be discarded and it needs to be discarded. It's of no use to you now, even today and tomorrow, okay. And you are supposed to red tag those things. And there is another category that you may think that these things will require in future. So you red tag it but keep it separately. We'll come to that. So this is the way of segregating the things. From this slide we understood how to segregate the things, on what principles. Now give your staff red labels. So red tag technique. Ask staff to go through every atom in the workplace. Ask if needed and those that are needed in what quantity. So if you think that this is needed, but you have unnecessary big quantity accumulated at your place. So you decide there may be some spare parts 50 number at your workplace, but you may require 25. So 25 is in excess at your workplace. So if you think that only 25 are needed, the other 25 may be returned back to the store. Okay. So that is the way of doing the things. If you think that it is not needed, red tag it. Store in the red tag area. So in your workplace, you create a red tag area initially and place the things there. Okay. Now for wavering items, as we discussed in the last slide also, that there may be some items, suspected items in the red tag area for 1 week or month. Means if you think that now it is not usable but it may be usable in future, so you have double mind or 50-50 that may be required, may not be required. So those who are the items which are you are very confident that they are to be disposed of, they are certainly to be red tagged and keep aside. But which items you are in doubt or in double mind, so red tag it but keep it in separate place, or red tag area make two places, one for the discarded thing and one for the wavering items. Now allow the staff to reevaluate the needed items. So whatever the needed items you have kept aside, you evaluate it that really it is needed. A second check that whether it is needed, how much it is needed, and accordingly take the decision. At the end of the week, month, those who need items should be returned. So if you find that some items were required in the category of wavering, that means you are not sure to be discard it or not to discard it. So there may be 8-10 items there. Out of that 8 and 10 items in that category, you may require 2 or 3 items for next 15 days or a month. Okay. So in that case, you take those items back to your workplace area and remaining items are to be disposed of in a proper manner. Means if some good items are there, they are to be returned back to the stores. If there are repairable items, send it for the repairs, and if they are to be discarded completely, send it to the your wastage yard or the backyard. So while you are doing Seiri, keep in mind how often things are used. So if you are say 50 items at your workplace, categorize it that how often the items are used. There is a priority that you use some items frequently and you use some items not that frequently or very rarely. What is the life of the material? Again, there is always a life of the material. So if you are not using it and the life is over, you have to discard it. So take into the consideration what is the life of the material. Then very importantly, cost of the material. Some items you may not require, but they are good and they are costly. So you are not supposed to completely discard and dispose of the costly material. You have to think twice that whether it is to be kept with you or it is to be given back to the stores. Be sure to throw the things, otherwise you may repent. So before you throw the things, before you send the things for the disposal to the dumping yard, cross check it, double check it. So what will happen? It may be the case that 1 or 2 items, they may be costly and they may be required in the future, and you may repent that oh that was required, but see I have disposed it off. Now probably I will have to again indent from the store or may buy the things. So it is a very, it's not a what you call a haphazard process. Sorting process is a very, very well thought process. Please try to understand this. You have to give your time, you have to be very focused, you have to be concentrate on when you are doing this sorting operation. Think fully while categorizing the atoms and disposing of the atoms. Consequences of not following Seiri. The wanted things is hard to find when required. So if there is all mumble jumble at your workplace, so you may not find your required tools, you may not find your required material when you are doing the job, and you will waste your time in finding out the things. Then very naturally, if you keep on accumulating the things, you will need more space, and what will happen, that your space will be jammed, because you are just keep on putting the things at your workplace and you will not get a space to move around. So unwanted items cause misidentification. Many a time you may misidentify, means there is an atom X but you consider that atom as Y. Okay. So misidentification causes errors in operation. So that mistake will reflect in your operations. Maintenance cost of the equipment may increase. So if you want to avoid these consequences, it is very important to follow the first step, that is Seiri, or in English the sort or the sorting. Okay. So people involved in Seiri must not feel sorry about having to throw away the things. So you should not have that guilty feeling that, oh, I have to throw away all these things. It is necessary. It is a part of your work, that whatever is required you keep it with yourself, and whatever not required you just either throw it away, dispose it off, or send it to the proper place of the storage. The idea is to ensure that everything left in the workplace is related to work. So see whatever is left after the sorting at your workplace is related to your work. Even the number of necessary items in workplace must be kept to its absolute minimum. So whatever the inventory of the items you are keeping at your workplace should be minimum, or you can say optimum. It should not be very less, it should not be more, it should be according to the use of the material and the availability of the material. If the material is not available easily, you can have a better stock or bigger stock. If the things are available very easily, there is no need to keep the stocks more. You can keep the optimum stock. Make work easy by eliminating obstacles. So if your workplace is neat, orderly, then what will happen? So there will not be any obstacles in your work and you can work smoothly. Provide no chance of being disturbed with unnecessary items. So prevent accumulation of unnecessary items. So the sorting process, makes us not to accumulate the unnecessary items. Because of Seiri, simplification of tasks, effective use of space, and careful purchase of items follow. Because there will be, a discipline, and there will be a coordination with your stores, and so the purchases will be as minimum as possible, right? So there will not be any unnecessary purchase, because you are having the item, but as you are not able to locate it, you order it to your store, and ultimately store will order from outside. So your purchases will be optimum, right? So this is the first step in 5S, that is Seiri or sorting in English. We have discussed this step in detail in this discourse, and please resume viewing and switch on to discourse 4, where we will discuss second S, that is seat on. Friends, please do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Have a good day.